Let's talk about this Lotto album. I keep calling it Mulatto, man. It's like, you know what? That's one of the things about branding. When you come out with your name out the gate, and people have already had that in their brain, it's very tough to change your name
Right.
completely. That's why most people do like a Jay Z, and then you got Jigga, you got Hove, yada yada. That first name, it sticks with people. But anyway, Big Lotto put out a new album. I guess this is her debut album, right? Major label debut. I know she got mixtapes out there.
Believe
Seven
so.
seven seven.
Hmm.
It was 13 tracks. You know, featured 21 Savage, Lil Wayne, Childish Gambino, Lil Durk, Nardo Wick, Kodak Black.
Hmm.
What were your thoughts on this Lotto album?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good album. I
Like,
was impressed.
what
She's
impressed you about the album?
her as an MC. She's got. I mean, because correct me if I'm wrong, unless I know something that other people don't know. She's got real songwriting skills, Mike. And unless there's some help going on that I don't know about, what I heard was somebody, and I told you this behind the scenes. I heard a young woman who, quite frankly, sounds like she's wanted to be a rapper her whole life, and she went for her dream, and now she's here and she's executing game plan. Like these tracks are dope, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And to what you have kind of been telling me, she's really the first solo female MC to come out of Atlanta and release like a project that's actually from here. Like she shouts out Clayton County on Southside, like Riverdale. Like she's from here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think Big Lotto is Atlanta's first mainstream female MC, and I know that a lot of times people don't like being categorized as that, but it's startling to think that, like you said, man, Atlanta's been running the hip hop game for about 20 years now, right? Or let's just
Mm-hmm.
say 15, being generous. And Atlanta's always had a foot in this game since what, '94, on a
Right.
mainstream level, and locally longer than that. And to think that with all those acts and all that influence in hip hop, we haven't had a female MC to come out of Atlanta. That's wild to think.
Well, Mike.
Um, and I
Well,
know
Mike.
people are gonna say Left Eye, Left Eye's from Philly. The Brat's
Right.
from Chicago, Shauna's from Chicago. We don't have one.
Right. So that's why I was telling you that, Mike. When I was saying that, when we were talking today, I was like, yo, Mike, I'm like, that's crazy. Like, that's crazy when I realized that. And I told you, you're the one that made me realize that because I've always attached. And not the brat, because I've always known, I told you, I've always known that the brat is from Chicago because she shouts out Chicago on Funk Defied. So
Mm-hmm.
even though I know it's ATL Allegiance, it's like, no, no, no. She's always been from Chi-Town originally. You know what I mean?
Spark Spliff says Left Eye, Left Eye's from Philly. Like I
Right. So
said,
when you said
Rashida's the
something,
only one that we got. I remember. I don't mean to cut you off, but I do want to say this while I'm thinking about it. I remember I was in high school. Capers dropped an album because you remember the song "Shawty Swing My Way," right? And the person with the verse at the end, it was the song was KP and Envy. So it was K. Was it KP or which one was singing? I think Envy was singing. And
Envy
Yeah,
was singing and
KP was the
KP was
rapper.
rapping.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so anyway, I was in the store and it was an independent release and it was a group called the Capers, and it was KP, and I took a chance on it because they're from Atlanta. It was local, and it was a female trio rap group. It was
Right.
KP, Rashida, and another young lady. I forgot her name. The Brat's on the album. Jermaine Dupri produced a couple things on the album. I'm sure you guys can look this up on YouTube or whatnot. I actually used to have that CD. But
Right.
yeah, that group put out that effort. And then Rashida went solo, signed to Universal. She's on Country Grammar. I'm not going to, knock the work that Rashida's put in this game. But I think that as far as notoriety with the music, Mulatto, even before her debut, has kind of surpassed that level of notoriety. So
Yeah.
before Mulatto, we had Rashida. And other than Rashida, I can't really think of a female MC in Atlanta that actually put out a full length major label effort.
So this is okay. So, but this is what I was trying to contextualize, and this is what I'm saying. let's not even look at Outkast or Goody Mob coming out in 94 and 95. Let's look at somebody like T.I. getting signed to a major label and getting major push for I'm Serious, or somebody like
What about
Luda.
Ludacris?
Or I was about to say, or Luda getting backed by major radio and labels and all that. I mean, when is that happening, Mike?
That's 2000. Ludacris signed to Def Jam South in June of 2000.
So the fact that this is happening around that time, and that literally it's taking 20 years for a female to ascend to that stature, has I guess I'm getting known to say, that's very problematic, Mike. And that's what I really took away from this today. It's like, well, it took over 20 years for a female from Atlanta to get here, because then I thought about it on a bigger level. When you told me Left Eye was from Philly, and I remembered that, Mike, you really messed up my day, messed up my week, messed up my feeling about Southern female MCs. Because then I thought about it, because here's the thing that I like about Lotto and that I liked about this album. You can tell that she's a Southern MC with Southern influences in terms of how she wants to brand herself, in terms of how she
Even the
wants to
slang.
rap.
Even the slang.
Even the slang.
Yeah.
You can tell she's from down here.
Yeah.
And I hate to say this, it's like, well, the most renowned MC from down here is Rhapsody. She's from Carolina. But Mike, what I tell you about MCs from Carolina, we be on some East Coast shit.
Yeah.
More than down South shit.
Yeah.
And so she really sounds Southern, you know? And she sounds dope as a Southern female MC. And not to just contextualize her as a female in that matter, because that's some of the stuff that we're kind of addressing in this manner. And so I was thinking to myself, it's like, is it just her and Meg as far as like solo MCs who are women that are coming out of the South and getting major play? And is it taking this long for it to happen? Because it's not like Meg's been here forever. And her mother used to be a rapper too. That was part of how her parlay into the game. She already had some inherent connections to her city and her hometown. You know what I mean?
Well,
So,
you know, I know a lot of people remember Mulatto. Yeah, I'm gonna say Mulatto because it was the original show that she was on. What was the rap show she was on, guys, in the chat with Jermaine Dupri? What's the name of that show? But a lot of people remember her from that show, and so and she was much younger then too. So you can tell that Lotto has been rhyming for a long time. And you could tell that even though she's 23 years old, you know, she's been crafting her thing for a minute. What I saw from this album was, you know, just straight out the gate, she wanted to show that, you know, she could rap with, you know, 777 Part 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Other things that I saw was, man, I'm going to be honest, man. I'm looking at the track list right now. I got it on the screen.
me too.
Willie's already a single. Big Energy's already a single. I see Sunshine being a single. I could see Like a Thug being a single.
Yep. Hold on. It's Given might be one of the best tracks on here, even though it's not a single. Because that's one of those, like, oh, this rapper can rap tracks, like, period. Like male or female. That's one of those tracks that it's like, oh, no, give it to an MC, see if they can MC, which goes to what you say, Mike. She's only 23, but like I was saying, you can tell she's been wanting to do this her whole life. Like, you can tell, and she's put in the work. That's what I hear. I hear somebody that wanted to do this, that put in the work.
No, definitely. And based on, and I guess let me preface it with this. Based on what radio plays, excuse me, based on what hip hop radio plays in 2022, I heard a lot of real potential big singles on here. And I think that if we talk about with her contemporaries, which, you know, it is what it is, you can call it whatever, but I think that the hip hop artists that are running radio right now, for those who still listen to radio, because I really don't listen to radio like that, but, you know, every now and then when, you know, just want to see what's going on, they're playing Lil Baby, they playing DaBaby, they playing Lil Durk, they playing, you know, Cardi still gets played, Sweetie still gets played, and people like, you know, Megan still gets played too. And Lotto gets played because Big Energy is a single. But with that being said, with those contemporaries there, I hear at least 5 or 6 singles from this album.
I agree with you, Mike. And I'm going to take it a step further. Everybody that you just named, I don't think they made an album better than this.
No, I don't think so either. You know what? And I don't even need to qualify it, to be perfectly honest. Like,
because I'm looking at Southside and Sleep at the end. Like, Those are dope records.
Yeah, man, I was impressed with Sleep Sleep, and that's when her, taking on the Twister Get It Wet beat from Adrenaline Rush,
Right.
and
But this
she
is what
took
I
that,
mean.
flipped her style seamlessly, man, and she sounds
Right.
comfortable on a lot of stuff. Um, and I
When did
think she
Adrenaline Rush
outdid.
come out?
Go ahead.
When did Adrenaline Rush come out, man?
Adrenaline Rush was 97.
She wasn't even alive. That's what I mean when I was telling you behind this. This girl knows her history. She wasn't even alive when that record dropped, Mike.
That's
I remember
crazy.
being I remember being in high school when that record dropped, and my man Nick Blackman bought it to like English class and was like, "You need to be up on this shit." Like slid me the CD.
I remember seeking out Adrenaline Rush just off of the Poe Pimp momentum. Because you know what? I think that Twister's verse on Poe Pimpin' is one of the more epic closeout verses ever. Like, it created a whole buzz around who he was. Shit, I thought he was in the group. I was about to go buy the album thinking he was in the group.
I love the whole record, but yeah, he was yeah.
Yeah, no, that verse on Poe Pimpin' is special, and yeah. So after that, and Money Flow, which was on there too, I went and sought out Adrenaline Rush, and I was not upset, man, because the radio weren't playing Twista solo stuff like that back
You know,
then, not out here, and
no.
so yeah, like you said, she wasn't even alive for it, and that wasn't even like one of those big time '90s hits either. That's kind of a B-side record.
But that's what I mean. It's like it's not even one of her big records on here. She took a dope B side and made it a dope B side again. You know
Ray
what I
Rims
mean?
with the super chat says, "Who was the most lyrical Southern female rapper of all time?" I
I mean, if
mean,
I'm saying Southern, it'd probably be Rhapsody because North Carolina is
probably
Southern.
Rhapsody, or people are big on Mia X too. But if we talking about just straight lyrical and that type of approach, it
I
may
would
be
say
Rhapsody. Yeah.
I would say
Although I
Rhapsody.
think that Gangsta Boo's had a very impressive career. It's just my
No,
personal opinion.
I like Gangsta Boo, but like bar for bar, it would be Rhapsody,
Yeah.
and then probably Mia X. Probably Mia.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, again with this album, I see like 5 or 6 singles, man.
See a lot of
And
potential.
the Big Energy, I guess that remix is not being released until next couple days. I think it says March 28th, which is odd. I guess they're gonna do somewhat of a bonus, but that's cool. And what I did want to say about the features on here, I feel like she outdid pretty much all of her features, and most of her features are pretty, notable names in the mainstream.
Mm, Sunshine.
Well,
Make
okay. I didn't think about that one. I'm thinking about the other records. I think Sunshine, yes. Childish
everything except
Gambino and Wayne kind of,
yeah.
And I
But
was really impressed with Childish Gambino's verse, and the fact that they put Gambino and Wayne on the same song. That was interesting.
man, Wayne on fire. I told you he like in NBA Jam mode. Like they have like somebody somebody hasn't maybe we haven't been giving him enough flowers. He's been on a tear like he hasn't been receiving enough respect. You
I
know?
think he loves what he's doing. I think what Wayne is showing right now is that he has love for the craft, love for the art, because you would think that he doesn't have to be doing any of this stuff.
Not at this level, not the way that he's performing and making it a point to like get on these records and just show all the way out every single time. Like, cause he's been doing it for a minute now.
And even if he does, quote unquote, have to do it for whatever reason, he's still giving great efforts. Like, it's
Well,
because a person like Wayne, they could just dial it in and just cash your check.
I think that's the great thing about like entertainers and athletes and why we respect the ones who really like listen to what I'm about to say, go to work,
Yeah.
work hard, and perform like to get paid to show that they're deserving of what it says. So even if he needs the money, well, guess what? The way he's performing, he deserves every dime and then some.
And he's giving you your money's worth. You know what I'm
No, he's
saying?
been
And
giving us more
like
than our
Darnell
money.
Lee says, Wayne loves rap.
Yeah,
He's been
no,
doing this since he was a child. He could have been stepped down.
yeah.
And he put on some of the biggest acts of, this era. So he could really just step aside if he wanted to. But he loves
And you
this
want
shit.
to and you want to know it, how I know he loves it? It's like, you know how I told you, like, my new thing is, it's like, well, what's their microphone fiend record? It's like, oh, he's got a lot of those.
That's real.
You guys has got a lot of those. It's like, oh, what's his microphone record? It's like, well, which year do you want to hear where he spazzed all the way
Well,
out
that's
on a
kind of
record?
his style. You know what I'm saying? Like he's one of those MCs that took on that style of MCing.
Right. Where he can literally go for about 3 minutes straight and it be dope and sound like a dope record. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are we rating this album so far?
I want to give it a solid 4. It feels like a 4 to me.
I think I want to give it a little bit more than a 4. I'm thinking maybe like a 4.25.
I
Because
was thinking
again,
about it.
because of the approach was to make hits, right, and to show that I can rhyme. Where do you think it falls short? Subject matter.
You know, when you say it like that, Mike, I mean, you can say subject matter, but it's like I was telling you behind the scenes. If you were to flip this subject matter and turn her into a 23-year-old male, like the sexual implications would actually be toned down. And so I can't say that she's being over sexual because that would be misogynistic as shit for how these dudes talk, especially dudes in her age bracket.
Yeah.
And so if you look at it in respect to her contemporaries,
Mm-hmm.
the sexualization of it is tame in comparison to the men, quite frankly. The
Yeah.
production is there, the hit making is there, her song making ability is there. She's there. This is what she wants to do, Mike. You might be right. I might have to give it a 4.25. Like I've only heard it once, like
Right.
just once.
I got a feeling. I got a feeling in the label. I'm sure they're gonna do their job on this album because she has exposure, and you know she's a notable name. I have a feeling with the songs that are here and her ability to go out there and get on flex and freestyle and stuff. I think this album's gonna last about a year. This is gonna be one of those albums that, based on the singles and the videos, they're gonna stretch this album out because they have good quality material to do so. I mean, I don't think it's Astro World, but I look at it in that type of way where it's like there are songs on there that could give this album
No.
legs.
Yeah, yeah.
And
She has songs with legs. You're right about that. I mean, Mike, you mess when you told me that she was 23. I was like, oh, she's 23. I'm
yes,
like, oh, this is what she wants to do, Mike.
she
She's
gonna be
serious.
here for a minute. I really do.
I feel like I've been hearing her name. I can't even lie, Mike. I just started listening to her like in the last 6 months, but I feel like I've been hearing her name for almost 2 years. So when you told me she was 23, I'm like, oh, I've been hearing about her since she's about 2021 though. I was like, so she's serious, like about the MC side of things. And even when you told me that she regretted the statement that she made about the rappers and like all that other stuff, I was like, oh, that means she done been around a couple years, done grown up, learned some things. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Darnell
Wow.
Lee says, Mike, I listened to it in the car. It might be a 4.5. I'm not mad at that
Ooh, is
because
it like that? I mean, I heard it in the car, but I heard it like in between my stops and my goes. That's what I'm saying, and that was the only time I heard it. So maybe I didn't get the full vibe, but I got a definite 4 out of it. And if you're saying 4.25, and Darnell Shady Ass is saying 4.5,
Well,
it
I
might
think
be.
this though, man, what sets us apart from his contemporaries is the fact that a lot of, I mean, at this point, and like you said, in this age range, they're able to make albums knowing that okay, I need to make another one next year, and so they don't really care about making songs with legs like that. There was a effort here to make songs that could be around. They could have said if the plan was to drop something and drop another one next year or whatever, she could have saved some of these songs for next year. You know what I mean? Like these songs are that radio friendly, and not only are they radio friendly, she's rhyming on them, and she has star power. And I think that the only thing that I mentioned Astro World, right? I don't think the production is Astro World, but I do think how strong the songs can be on a radio format are there. But I do think the rapping is better than Astro World.
Mm, you're right. That's strong too.
Yeah.
There's some dope rapping going on Astro World, but I told you, Mike, when I heard her, I was like, oh, she's got songwriting ability, like full scale, like A-list radio songwriting, MC material. And then I just thought about something too. I need to be consistent. Another MC, the last female I believe, whose project we rated was when Love the Genius did Thy Will Be Done, correct?
Mm-hmm.
We gave that a 4.25, even though stylistically Love does something totally different than Lotto. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But when you just contextualize it the way that you did, I thought to myself, well, we gave her a 4.25 because she was doing what she did on that project exceptionally well and it needed to be recognized. And so I think the same thing applies to Lotto on this. So I'm with you on the 4.25 because we need to be consistent. And we're kind of going to get into that when we do our ratings later, too.
Yeah, we're about to get into the ratings. I know we're moving right along, but yeah, I do want to say that this artist has star power. I predicted there's at least going to be 4 or 5 singles on this. I think this album has some legs,
Mm-hmm.
and shoot, man, I think she has the ability to be the next star in hip hop. Period.
No, it's impressive. When you told me she was 23, I'm like, oh, she ain't going nowhere. Like,
No.
she gonna get like. Listen to what I say. She she's in that space where it's like, Mike, she got time to get like nice on the microphone still. You hear me?
Yeah.
She can already write songs and she can already rap and do certain things that great MCs can do. So it's like I want to give her a little bit of time and see how great like she wants to be as an MC because I hear her as somebody that has great MC potential.
Shout out to Darnell Lee real quick with the super chat. He says, "Fella, did she drop her load on this album? Maybe dare I say she needed to hold on to some of those tracks, rapping better than Astro." Um, Listen, I think that based on what I hear from her, I think she has the ability to continuously create.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm
Now,
saying.
and I
Yeah,
say this respectfully, and I'm pretty sure this artist would agree. She's no Cardi B in that light. Cardi B blew her load in 2018. That's why we haven't heard anything since. But I think that when it comes to mic performance and mic ability, I think she's a step above. I mean, steps above Cardi B as an MC. Um,
so
so I think that that's the difference. I think she could drop something like this and she could come back. I mean, I don't see why not? But and she's young. That's the
that's
caveat here. And you
that's
got that young energy, and you got talent behind it, and you got experience because she's been doing this for a minute. I think that she probably got a whole bunch more left in the chamber that she didn't even put on this.
that's what I mean when I said I heard a songwriter, as in like, no, I hear somebody that can keep on doing this, especially when you told me how old she was. You want to know who I think she can be? Like, and I, I don't think she's ever going to be confused with Lauren or even somebody that I just referenced that had like love on the mic on that level. But do I think she can be Lil Kim Foxy level? Yeah, I do.
Oh, definitely. I think so too.
I've been hearing this project. I'm like, no. She can go to Lil Kim Foxy levels of MCing. And like I said, Kim got more scene stealing verses on her resume than most of these dudes who we run around and talk about.
No,
And
that's real, and I think that Lotto has that ability to jump on some hardcore shit, no
yeah,
pun
that's what I'm
intended,
saying.
and
Yeah,
really
that's what I'm
steal the
saying.
show.
Like I look forward to what the future has for her in terms of even where she gets placed on other people's stuff because she's gonna come in and like eat other people on their shit.
I could see I could see J. Cole getting a feature from her. I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Someone in the
Future.
chat said that Lotto better than Megan Thee Stallion.
Yes, I agree. I would say yes after hearing this album because this is more impressive to me than anything that Megan's done album wise, and that's not to knock Megan's hustle at all. I just think that Lotto is a better MC, and I think this album is better. And this album is the first 2 tracks are the evidence to her wanting to be an MC on some sort of level. Wouldn't you say?
I agree. I agree. I think
And
a lot of the
and
times,
recognize.
I think a lot of the times on the content, Megan kind of sells herself a little short. Megan raps hard, and she can go hard, but she comes across as one dimensional a lot. And I think that as far as versatility and diversity, I think that Lotto kind of showed us a little bit more, and I do think that she has a little bit more upside as an MC. And I could be wrong, but that's where I'm at with it. I think that Yeah, my answer would be
Here-
yes.
Here's how polished this album is, and here's how polished she is. I told you. You said she was 23. After I listened to this project, I thought she was 28. That's how well it was put together. That's how dope and polished she sounds. So when you said she was 23, I was like, oh, she's a problem.
Yes, she's gonna be here.
Problem.
She's definitely.